Hello, hello. 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 Korean. Hello. Hi. Testing, testing. Hello.
Basic study skills which are note taking and note making. And we discussed that we have um, interaction between the study skills and the language skills, and we're able to identify three different language skills that are needed for you to take notes effectively and for you to make notes effectively. So we identified listening, writing, and reading, that they are required in classroom for you to take notes and outside the classroom for you to make notes. Well, these three skills are the most required for any student. You have to listen, especially when you are in class. Then you have to write when you are in class. Then after the classroom, you preparing for exam, preparing for a test, or you just want to do personal reading, you have to do reading. So that means we have to pay attention to these three language skills: listening, reading, and writing. But more importantly, you notice that a student does more of reading than any other language skills. We do more of reading than listening. We do more of reading than writing. So that means reading is very important and we have to pay attention to it. And what are the aspects of reading that we have to pay attention to? Let's start from the meaning of reading itself. Many students have misconception about what reading means. They think it is just your ability to open a book and begin to make some utterances based on what you see in the book. But reading is beyond that. Until you achieve three basic things, you have not read. So to define reading, we say reading is the ability to identify, recognize, and interpret written symbols. I'll go through that again. So reading is the ability to identify, recognize, and interpret written symbols. Until you're able to do these three, you have not read. Now, if you open a book and you're able to identify some symbols there as letters, that is identification. But if you are able to recognize individual letters as A or B or C or as any letter, that is recognition. You are able to recognize. But when those symbols are put together, when you pronounce what you see, are you able to interpret it? Until you are able to interpret, you have not read. If you can identify and recognize it to make a pronunciation based on what you see, and you are not able to interpret, then you have not read. So it involves your ability to identify, recognize, and interpret written symbols or printed symbols. That is what reading is. Having discussed the meaning of reading, another thing that is very important is types of reading. Now, it is very important that you know the various types of reading as a student, because different reading process requires different reading type. Now you should know your purpose for reading. If you know the purpose why you are reading, then you will know the particular type of reading that you should apply to that reading process. So basically we have 5 types of reading. Um, Although there are other types of reading, but for this level we are to discuss these 5 types of reading. Now we are starting from number 1, which is scanning. Scanning is a type of reading where the reader takes a quick glance through a material in order to locate a particular information. I will take that again. Scanning is a type of reading where the reader takes a quick glance through a material to locate a particular information. So when you are reading for the purpose of locating information in a particular text or in a particular portion of a text, then you are scanning. Let's say, for example, when you wrote your WAEC English language exam, you were given a passage to read. Then some questions were given after the passage. The last set of questions was use another word to replace each of these words as used in the passage. Now, if you take the first word, let's say the first word is crucial, the word crucial. Now, you will go back to the passage. You don't have to read the passage all over again. You have to go and look for where the word crucial is located in that passage. So you take a quick glance through the material, through the passage, then to locate crucial where it is written. Then once you see the word crucial, once you are able to locate the word crucial, then you stop scanning and you try to look at the way it is used in that context. So you have stopped scanning. So scanning means you taking a quick glance through a material to locate a particular information, and once you see the information, you have finished the process of reading. Alright, skimming. The next type of reading is skimming. Skimming is very similar to scanning in some aspects. What is skimming? Skimming is a type of reading where the reader takes a quick glance through a text or a material in order to know what the material is all about. For example, if you go to the bookshop to buy some books and you are attracted by a particular book, if you walk up to the shelf to check the book, the first thing you are going to check is what the book is all about. You can start opening some pages of the book and you want to discover what exactly is the book all about. So when you are doing that, you are skimming. So skimming means you taking a quick glance through a material or a written text in order to know what it is all about. Then the next type of reading is what we call extensive reading. Extensive reading is a type of reading that is done for pleasure. You want to entertain yourself, you want to enjoy yourself, you want to relax. So when you are relaxing and you just want to read something to relax, the type of reading you are doing then is extensive reading. The types of books we read in extensive reading are books like storybooks, magazines, newspapers, and some other books that you can read for pleasure. So the next type of reading is called the intensive reading. Intensive reading is so different from the other types of reading that we have been discussing. Intensive reading is the type of reading some people call normal reading. In some textbook you see intensive reading as normal reading. Now, why do they call it normal reading? That is the type of reading you do in school when you are preparing for exam or you're preparing for seminar. It's a serious type of reading where you have to intensify your effort to understand, where you have to intensify your level of attention. That's why we call it intensive reading. So intensive reading is a type of reading that is done for academic reasons. But there's another type of reading which is very similar to intensive reading, and that's the last type of reading we are going to discuss now. We call it study type. The study type of reading is very similar to intensive reading, but this time around the student will apply some reading techniques, that is techniques of reading, while reading. So you don't just read. In intensive reading, you can just take your book, and pay attention to details. You don't have to plan anything, but your focus is, I want to prepare myself for exam and I need to understand certain portion of this material that I'm reading. You are not planning it. So study type of reading is adding planning, adequate planning to intensive reading. Actually, in study type of reading, you are still doing intensive reading, but with some aspect of um, rigorous planning. And that is why I would say study type of reading is a reading type where the reader applies certain techniques of reading in the process of reading. So when you apply these techniques, any of these techniques, to your reading in intensive reading, you are now doing study type of reading. But if you just read without applying any technique, you just read to understand, to prepare for exam, you are doing intensive reading. But here, some scholars refer to this as critical reading. Now, basically for this level, we are going to identify two basic techniques of reading, which are the SQ3R and the OK4R. Don't forget, we use them whenever we are engaging in study type of reading, or the one we call critical reading. So let's start with SQ3R. SQ3R is a technique of reading where the reader plans the reading process according to each of the items we have in SQ3R. So I'm going to spell out the meaning of each of these letters in SQ3R. For example, the S stands for survey. That is the first thing. As a student who want to stand out, if you are using SQ3R, the first thing you do is survey. Let me tell you about survey. If you are reading, if you are preparing for exam, you have some materials you want to read for the exam. One of the important materials you use for exam to prepare for exam is your textbook. If you have a textbook, if this textbook is for a particular course, it is not everything in this textbook that you need to pass that course. There are some textbooks that are used for several courses. You can use a textbook for GNS 101. That same textbook will be used for GNS 201. That same textbook will be used for GNS 301. That is, the content of the book covers everything you have to do in 3 different courses. So you are preparing for exam in only one course. Now, it means you have to do your survey. You have to mark out the areas that concern you in this textbook to pass this particular course. So you have to do your survey, because you don't have to read everything. How do you go about that? You already have your course outlines given to you by your lecturer. So use the course outline to mark out the areas that you need to read in this textbook. For example, for GNS 101, we have 5 major topics, which are study skills, nature of language, grammatical convention, then we have literature in English. Now, if you have those topics mapped out from in a textbook, then you have planned what you have to read. You take them now one after the other. Okay, the first topic is nature of language. What do I need to read under nature of language? Now you have done it for general purpose. You have mapped out some topics for general purpose. Then the next thing you are going to do, still on survey, is even in a topic. For example, language as a topic in GNS 101. What are the things you need to read in that topic, under that topic? What are the things you need to read? 1, you need to read meaning of language, features of language, functions of language, language skills. So you have about 4 topics to read under language. So you have to mark them out that these are the topics I need to read under language. That time you are doing your survey. The next thing is the Q. The Q stands for question. As a good student who wants to stand out, the next stage in the process of reading is to ask yourself some questions that are likely exam questions. How do you go about that? Number 1, you have to get some past questions, at least for about 2 or 3 sessions. Check out questions that are being repeated every session in those 2 or 3 sessions that you have. Okay, write those questions out for each topic that you want to read. For example, you want to read language as a topic under GNS 101. Now, what are the basic questions that you usually ask under language? Number one, they usually ask us meaning of language. So I need to know what is language. That is your first question. What is language? Number two, what are the features of language? Number three, what are the functions of language? Number four, what are language skills? Now you have asked those questions. Those are the questions you need to be able to answer after reading. So it is necessary and important for a student to have such likely exam questions before you start reading. So that is the second step in the process of reading for SQ3R. Then the third step, that is when you read. At this stage, you already have the topics you want to read. You have picked topic number one. Then come back here to do your intensive reading. Read it to understand the concept. Then after reading the topic, the whole subtopics under it, maybe 4 or 5, you have read them. Then you need to go to the next stage, which is recite. How do we mean by recite? After reading, put your reading material aside, your textbook, put it aside. Then take up the question you have highlighted here. Take the paper where you have written the questions again. Then start from question number one. Question number one, what is reading? You know you have read it. Then you want to recite what you have read. What is reading? Then you begin to say it. Reading is ability to identify, recognize, and interpret reading symbols. Okay. So you are reciting what you have read. Now, other language you have read, features of language. What are the features of language? Features of language. Language is arbitrary, language is innate, language is conventional, language is this, language is that. But you discover that you read about 12 features of language, but now you are able to remember 6 features of language. Don't bother yourself, don't worry. Don't worry too much about that. You read 12 features, but you are able to remember 6. Don't worry, just proceed to the next question. The next question is, okay, what are the language skills? Mention them. Okay, language skills, we have listening, reading, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, I got it. Then move to the next. Until you finish all the questions, then you move on to the last stage. Now remember, there are some things you forgot when you were trying to recite. There were things you forgot. Those things are the things you are going to pay attention to again. So take up your textbook again. Check those areas that you think you have forgotten some things. Revise. So when you are revising, it means you want to remind yourself of some things that you might have forgotten. So if you go through these stages, these 5 stages in your reading using SQ3R, it is very difficult for you to forget some concepts that you have read, because it is not ordinary reading that you have done. You have done study type of reading, that is, you have planned adequately for your reading process. So if you go through this process, it will enhance your level of understanding and it will reflect in your performance. Your result will be better. Now, I always encourage my students that they should not just read, but they should apply techniques of reading to their reading. How? Have adequate planning when you want to read. Don't just take up your book and read. The OK4R is very similar to SQ3R. Very, very similar here. Now, in OK4R, the first letter there, O, stands for overview. Overview is exactly the same thing you did in survey here. Remember I said in survey, you mark out areas that you need to pass your exam. That is what you are doing. So in overview too, have a general overview of what you have to read. Mark out areas that you need. It is not everything in that textbook that you need. Have an overview of what you chose, what you think you need to read. Then key ideas. Okay, from what you need to read, What are those key ideas that you think always come every session for that particular course, that is likely exam questions? Those are what we refer to as key ideas. Mark them out, those key ideas. You can put them in form of questions as well as you did here, in SQ3R. Put them in form of questions, those key ideas, those things that are likely to come in exam. Then the next step, you read, just like you did here. You read. Then the next stage is recall. Recall and to recite mean the same thing. So after reading, you take up your questions, that is your key ideas. Ask yourself to answer questions on those ideas. What is language? Then you define language. That time you are recalling what you have read. Then the next thing is to reflect. Now, the period you are reflecting could be a period you are just relaxing. Try to bring back some of those things you have read, and during recall, those things that you think you forgot, bring them back. Try to bring them back. Reflect on them. When you are reflecting, you will see that you can still remember some things that you think you have forgotten before. You can still remember them. Now, it means that the period between the time you recall, that is you recite here, and the time you are going to take back your textbook is a bit longer in OK4R than in SQ3R. So in OK4R, you are still going to reflect after trying to recall some things. There are things you forgot. During the time you are reflecting, those things will still come back. That is reflecting. But after this stage, you can now take back your textbook. Try to make some review to things you think you have forgotten or things you need to understand more. That could be things you think your level of understanding about them are not yet satisfactory. Then you can now go back to your textbook, read them again, and that will enhance your level of understanding in those areas. So these techniques are very important if you are a student in the higher institution of learning. Now you prepare for exam using any of these techniques, the result is going to be fantastic. I just trust me. But the next topic we are going to discuss is good reading habit, because we have discovered that although some students always try to read, in fact intensively, but even as such they still don't understand some aspect of what they have read. It is because one way or the other they have engaged themselves in some bad reading habits. So I'm not going to teach you good reading. Okay, are we on? Okay. Okay, are we on? Good evening, students. Please, if you can hear me, just say it in the comment section. Tell me if you can hear me now, please. Let me know. Say it in the comment section. Let me see if you can hear me. Somebody is saying the network is bad, but you should, okay, you should hear me now. Hello, good evening, scholars. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me see in the comment section, please. Can you hear me? All right, please stop telling me your names. Just tell me, let me know if you can hear me. Write it in the comment section that you can hear me now. Hello, scholars. Let me see in the comment section if you can hear me clearly. I want to be sure you can hear me before we start the lecture.
Oh my God, my network is off. Okay. All right, please, can you hear me now? Okay, good evening, please. So today I'm going to be doing some revisional class with you. Um, Quickly, I will go through the course outline again. I will go through the course outline. So I will tell you the major aspect of the course outline that you should concentrate on. You know, you are writing your exam either tomorrow or on Saturday. So you just need to concentrate on some areas. This time around, you are going to be doing selective reading. You are not going to be reading everything. Okay. So remember, for GNS 101, you have you have 5 major topics. And the first major topic is concept of language. That is nature of language. So on nature of language, we are going to test you on these areas. Number one, we are going to test you on meaning of language. So there will be aspect of your question that will require you to supply the meaning of language. So the first thing you should know under nature of language is meaning of language. What is language? Then, secondly, you should know the various characteristics of language, that is features of language. All right. After that, we are going to test you on functions of language. We are going to test you on functions of language, so you should know the various functions of language. Then, number 4, we are going to test you on language skills. Now, you should be able to supply all the language skills we have. Remember, we have just 4 language skills. Then we are going to test you on that. Then, lastly, we are going to test you on uses of English language in Nigeria. What do we use English language for in Nigeria? So we are going to test you. All those things I've mentioned will be more of the objective questions. That is, they are going to be among the 40 objective questions that we are going to answer. Now, all those aspects of language, like I said, meaning of language, you know what language means. Don't forget, language is a set of conventional symbols and sounds used in human community for expression of feelings, ideas, and opinion. So it's a system of sound and symbols used for communication in human community. Don't forget, a particular scholar describes language as human instrument of expression through the use of sound as released by the vocal cords. So I've given you several definitions of language in our various lectures. So know the meaning of language. Then secondly, features of language. We have discussed various features of language, like language is arbitrary, language is innate, language is systematic, language is conventional, language is culturally transmitted, and some other features like that. Don't forget the several features of language. They are going to come in the objective part of your question. Then, the third aspect of nature of language is the language skills. Now, remember, we have 4 language skills, which are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So the first language skill acquired by a child is listening skill. So a child will begin to listen to sounds in his or her environment. That skill is acquired naturally when you are young. So that is listening. The second language skill is speaking. Once the child begins to listen to sound around him or her, later will begin to imitate the sounds by trying to say them. So that is when you are developing your speaking skill. So speaking skill is the second skill that is acquired naturally. Then the third one is the reading skill. So reading and writing are acquired through formal education. When you get to school, they begin to teach you how to read letters. That is when you start learning A for apple, B for ball. That is the essence of that thing when they start them with you in your elementary schools. So reading will come before writing. So after reading, you begin to write the various letters you're able to read, then you can write them down. So in other words, the four language skills in any language are the listening skill, the reading skill, the listening skill, the speaking skill, the reading skill, and the writing skill. So those are the four major language skills you acquire as a language user. Then apart from language skills, we are going to test you on various functions of language. What do we use language for? Language is used for expression of feelings, opinion, and some other things like that. So we call it expressive function. So you express yourself using language. Then language is used to entertain. Language is used to educate. Language is used to transmit culture, and so on. Those are various uses of language. Now, apart from that, we talk about uses of English language in Nigeria. In that aspect, we are specific. That is how the English language has been helping us in various ways in Nigeria. So uses of English language in Nigeria. Number one, I told you language is our lingua franca. That is the language that is chosen among various languages in the country as language of expression. So I told you, in a place where we have a lot of languages, Nigeria is one of nations like that. We call it heterogeneous nation. We have several languages. Like I told you in class, we have about 400 indigenous languages. So, but there must be a language that is used generally by the people there if you want to address a set of audience that you will have several ethnic groups there. Then you have to speak English language. So English language is lingua franca, and it is also number two. It's also the official language, the language that we use in offices. We use English language in offices for day-to-day transaction of business. So it is official language, and any official address is written or presented in the English language. So English language is our official language. It's also the language of the media, and so the only language that is acceptable in the media is the English language. Look at the news industry, the media houses, they do their presentation in the English language majorly, especially when they have to address the whole nation. So our newspapers, national dailies, are written in the English language because English language is the language of the press. It is also the language of entertainment. So the entertainment industry in Nigeria now has improved, and if you have anything to present as entertainment, if you don't present it in the English language, you are going to miss it. So English language is the language of entertainment in Nigeria. It is also the language of international relations. This, if you have anything to do with the with other countries outside Nigeria, you are going to use English language. Definitely, it is a language of international relations, and so on. So I don't want us to waste much time. We have discussed a lot of these things in class. This evening, I want us to treat at least one or two past questions. So for the first topic, that is nature of language. those 5 aspects, please take note of them when you are reading. But today's lecture is going to be some sort of revisional class. In fact, if you can take some notes, you may not have to read too much again after this lecture, because the past questions we are going to treat will give you some clues as to what you are going to meet in the exam. So I have 2 different past questions here. We are going to display the current one we are treating on the screen. You are going to see it on the screen. That is first semester 2022-2023 session. Now, I want to say this. Please, any question we treat here, they are past questions. Past questions. I'm not treating any question here telling you that is what is actually coming in your exam. I don't know what your question will be like, but these are past questions that can give you clues. And I have told you several semesters we only restructure question. They are still the same course content. So it means any question I read here may be rephrased in that structure in the current examination period. So please take note, we are discussing only past questions here. Excuse me. So we are going to discuss 2022-2023 session, past question, use of English. So we are going to start with option A. Like I told you, option A is 40 objective questions. So I will read the questions, then I will give you the answer, the suggested answers to each of the questions. So question number 1. Can you see the questions on the board? On the screen. If you can see it, please signify. Let me see. Okay. They can see it. Okay. So question number 1. Dash and dash are oracy skills in language study. Dash and dash are oracy skills in language study. Remember, we discussed that we have 4 language skills. 2 of them are acquired naturally. The other 2 are acquired through formal education. So what oracy skill mean here is those language skills that we acquire through Western education that will require you to go to school. But here, when we say oracy, it means those that will require you to use your skill of speaking and reading. So when you speak, you are using oracy skill, and what you speak, what you say, you can also write it. So you can also write it. So you can speak, then when you write, you can read out what you have written. So when you speak and when you read, you are displaying your oracy skills. Remember, when you are reading too, you are making an oral presentation, you are reading from manuscript. That is oracy. So the 2 oracy skills are speaking and reading. So number 2, dash is a non-instinctive method of communicating ideas and feelings with the use of voluntarily produced symbols. I'll take that question again. Dash is a non-instinctive method of communicating ideas and feelings with the use of voluntarily produced symbols. That is language. That is language. So when you use um, some conventional sounds and symbols to express yourself, you are using what we call language. Remember, animals don't have that. They cannot use words and letters to communicate. So it is only humans that can do that. Number three, dash deals with the rules of word formation and the significant variation in the form of words. I will take the question again. Dash deals with the rules of word formation and the significant variation in the forms of words. Rules of word formation. Now, there are four aspects of language when you are learning language. And the first one is the syntax of the language, that is the grammar of the language, how you combine words to form expressions. Then you have what we call morphology, which deals with how to combine different sounds to create different words. So the question here is uh, uh, that deals with the rules of words formation. So when you are forming words in a language, that is what we call morphology. Morphology. The study of how to combine sounds to form words in any language. So that is morphology. Then number four, when a country recognizes two official languages, the country is described as bilingual. Bilingual. So, and don't forget, when you have somebody that can speak two languages, that person is a bilingual person. Then if somebody can speak more than two languages, we call the person multilingual. So the answer to that question is bilingual. Bilingual. So number five, the type of paragraph that summarizes the idea in an essay is known as, remember the last topic we discussed is paragraphing. So the last topic, paragraphing. So under paragraph, I taught you meaning of paragraph, which is the unit of expression, the unit of expression or the unit of thought in any discourse. So we say, paragraph is a unit of idea in a discourse. Okay, so but we have three types of paragraph, basically three types of paragraph: the introductory paragraph, the developmental paragraph, or the transitory paragraph, then the concluding paragraph. So the question here is, the type of paragraph that summarizes the idea in an essay is known as concluding paragraph. So you conclude your essay using concluding paragraph. Okay, number six. Is the question still on the screen? Okay. Question number six. The act of developing a jotted note into a detailed note is known as, the act of developing a jotted note into a detailed note is known as note making. Remember, there are two study skills: note taking and note making. So the one that requires you to develop the notes you have taken in class to a more readable form or comprehensive form is called note making. So this question is referring to note making. The act of developing a jotted note into a detailed note is known as note making. So abbreviation of words is very essential in note making. True or false? I want you to answer that question. Just type the answer. Let me see. Abbreviation of words is very essential in note making. True or false? True or false? Can you see the comments? Okay. I can see true, true. Okay. So the answer is true. Abbreviation of word is very essential in note making. It is true. So remember, I told you one of the things you must train yourself to be able to do is how to abbreviate. That will make it very convenient for you to take notes in class. So abbreviation is essential. That is true. Number 8, the physical location and time of events in a fictional work is known as dash. The physical location, and that is place. The physical location and time of events in a fictional work is known as dash. That is what we call setting. Remember, under literature we treated some literary terms. Setting is one of them. So setting means the place and time reference projected in any work of art. So when you can infer from a literary work the particular place where that event took place, or the particular time when it took place, you are referring to setting of that fictional work. So the answer to that question is setting. Number 9, the literary genre written in chapters is known as. You should be able to tell me that answer. Many of you should know that. What is the answer? Please type. Let me see. The literary genre written in chapters is known as, a particular genre of literature is written in act and scene. One of them is written in stanzas. The other one is written in chapters. Which one is written in chapters? The literary genre written in chapters is known as. The answer there, prose. The correct answer is prose. Okay, the next one. Reading to get specific information from a piece of writing. Reading to get specific information from a piece of writing is called, I need that answer from you too. Reading to get specific information from a piece of writing is called, remember we discussed 5 major types of reading, which are skimming, scanning, extensive reading, intensive reading, and study type of reading. Which of them are they referring to here? Reading to get specific information. What are the answers? All right, I have seen scanning. Scanning is the correct answer. When you scan to locate a particular information. So scanning is the correct answer. So the question is reading to get specific information from a piece of writing is scanning. Number 11. 11 says, dash describes a situation whereby a reader reads aloud when he is expected to read silently. Remember some of the bad reading habits we discussed in class. This is one question referring to one of the bad reading habits. So what does this mean? Dash describes a situation whereby a reader reads aloud. What is that? What is the answer? What is the answer? I'm waiting for your answers. When you read aloud, what type of bad reading habit is that? That is correct. Somebody said vocalization. So vocalization is the correct answer. When you vocalize, that means you are reading aloud. So vocalization is reading aloud when you are reading, when you are supposed to read silently. So that is vocalization. Now, question number 12. This is on library. IITA library and NISA library are examples of dash type of library. IITA library and NISA library are examples of dash library. We call them research library. Research library. So you know IITA is a research institute, NISA is also a research institute. So when you have library in this kind of setting, so they are referred to as research libraries. So number 13, question number 13, dash is a compilation of maps with tabulations of geographical data. Dash is a compilation of maps with tabulations of geographical data. That question is also from that topic, library. Library. So what is the answer? Do you know what they call atlas? That is a compilation of maps with tabulations of the geographical data. So we call this atlas. Atlas. Then number 14, state any 4 types of dictionaries. State any 4 types of dictionary. That is, I think I gave you this one as an assignment, that you discuss various types of library. We have pronunciation dictionary, we have etymological dictionary, we have dictionary of proper names. So there is particular dictionary that supplies several proper names. Then we have dictionary of usage. That dictionary tells you how to use words, several words in a particular language. Then we have scientific dictionary. A scientific dictionary is specifically for sciences. Then we have etymological dictionary, which means dictionary that will tell you about the origin of a particular word, and so on. So we have several types of libraries like that. Then number 15 now. Number 15. Identify the parts of speech underlined in the following sentences. So this set of questions are from the grammar aspect of your course outline. Question number 15. If you know the answer to any of the question, once I read it, please type your answer. Let me see. Type your answer. Let me see. So question number 1. The general election comes soon. So the underlined word is general. General. The general election comes soon. What is the answer? Okay, in order not to waste time, the answer is adjective. You know, we can have the sentence as the election comes soon. Which election? The general election. So general there is used to describe the type of election that is coming up. So it's an adjective. Adjective describes a noun or a pronoun. Adjectives is used to qualify a noun. So to qualify election there, we have used general. So general is as an adjective. Then number 2, my brilliant sister is here. My brilliant sister is here. Brilliance is underlined. What part of speech is brilliant? Definitely, that is also an adjective. Sister is the noun that is being qualified here. My sister is here. Which of your sister? The brilliant one. So my brilliant sister is here. The word brilliance there is an adjective. Then number 3, the needed change. The needed change will surely come. Change is underlined. Now, what part of speech is change? Change there is a noun. A noun. You have an adjective before it, which is needed. Needed is an adjective, but change is underlined, and change is a noun. A noun. We can remove the adjective and read it as the change will surely come. The change will surely. So change is a noun. And for you to actually know that a particular word is a noun, one of the clues that you can use is when it is preceded by an article, either the article D or the article A or the article an. So when you have any of the 3 used with any word, that word is definitely a noun. A noun. So she regularly attends to us. She regularly attends to us. You can have that sentence as she attends to us regularly. So which means you can move regularly to any part of the sentence. You can see regularly she attends to us, and it is an adverb that can be moved to several places like that. So you can move regularly to either the beginning of the sentence or the end of the sentence. It can also be there. That means it's an adverb. So it's an adverb. Regularly, I mean regularly is an adverb. Okay. Now she regularly attends to us. Okay, adverb. Number 5, the man is good at mathematics. The man is good at mathematics. Many of you should have said a preposition. So at is a preposition there. It's a preposition. So those 5 questions are from the aspect of grammar, grammatical conventions. So number 16 now, interpret the following idioms. Interpret the following idioms. Number 1. So remember I told you in class that we are going to give you some idioms to interpret. Just tell us the meaning of the idioms. So just read some idioms. You may be lucky. Some of them will come out. So in this one now, number 1, Roslyn is a wet blanket. Roslyn is a wet blanket. A wet blanket means somebody that spoils other people. Or when somebody that spoils people's fun, when people are enjoying something and the person comes around to spoil their fun, or somebody that destroys a particular plans, initial plans of people, somebody that spoils it, we call them wet blankets. Roasting is a wet blanket. That is what it means. Somebody that spoils people fun or particular initial plans. So number 2, the rector is a man of many parts. The rector is a man of many parts. So the idiom there is man of many parts. And what does it mean? It means a versatile person, somebody that can diversify, somebody that can do several things. So that is what it means to be a man of many parts. You can that a man of many parts can talk about any aspect of human endeavor, like he can talk about medicine, he can talk about engineering, he can talk about language, he can talk about so many things. So you can do several things as well. So number 3, the chairman is a thick-skinned man. The chairman is a thick-skinned man. You see somebody that you cannot easily convince, you cannot easily discourage. That person has a thick skin. So when you say somebody is a thick-skinned person, that means you cannot easily penetrate that person. Even when you criticize the person, he doesn't care. So he doesn't give in to intimidation and some other things like that. So that is what it means to be thick-skinned. Then number 4, marriage is not a bed of roses. Marriage is not a bed of roses, which means it may not be something that is very pleasant. It may not be something that is very pleasant. It may become unpleasant at times. So it's not a bed of roses. So question number 17. Identify the following figures of speech. Identify the following figures of speech. That is also a question from literature. So this set of questions are from literature. Number 1, oh God, what have I done? Oh God, what have I done? Okay. If I ask you to write your answers, that may take time, but we have a question mark in front of it. But what type of question is that? That is a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is a figure of speech which asks questions that do not require any answer. So when you ask questions that not when you ask questions that do not require answers, um, we call them rhetorical questions. So, oh God, what have I done? Rhetorical question. Number two, the beautiful lady is a green snake. The beautiful lady is a green snake. For somebody to be a green snake, you are comparing that person directly to another thing. And when you make such comparison without the use of as or like, that is metaphor. Remember we have two types of comparison, either simile or metaphor. Simile we use as, like the beautiful lady is like a green snake. That is simile. But when you remove like or as and you say the beautiful lady is a green snake, that is metaphor. If you say the woman is a pig, that is metaphor. You say the woman is as dirty as a pig, that is simile. Then number three now, it was a sweet sorrow experience last week. It was a sweet sorrow experience last week. Remember when you put two opposite words side by side in the same expression, that is called um, oxymoron. So oxymoron, we use two opposite words at the same time in the same expression. So the correct answer there is oxymoron. So oxymoron, sweet sorrow experience is oxymoron. Number four, the king. Somebody say exaggeration. It's not exaggeration. It's oxymoron. It's oxymoron. It is not apostrophe. Somebody wrote apostrophe. It is not apostrophe. Okay. Excuse me. That person that wrote apostrophe was referring to the first sentence. Oh God, what have I done? There is a difference between apostrophe and rhetorical question. So apostrophe is when you address a lifeless object as if that object is still living. So like when you are addressing a dead body, why have you done this to us? You did not tell us you will go this soon. Why did you go without telling us? So that is apostrophe. You are addressing a lifeless object like it was still alive. So this one is different. You say, oh God, what have I done? That is rhetorical question. It is rhetorical question. So then the next one, number four, the king has joined his ancestors. The king has joined his ancestors. Now, there is a particular figure of speech that we use. Okay, somebody already said it. This one is euphemism. Euphemism. So when you address, when you express um, something that is not pleasant in a pleasant manner, that is euphemism. Euphemism. So if you know, when I say this, it's going to hurt somebody, then you find a way of saying it in such a way that it will not hurt the person like that. That is euphemism. Yoruba uses a lot of euphemism when they want to make some expressions. So one of them is what we have seen here. The king has joined his ancestors. Instead of saying the king has died, so it is euphemism. Euphemism. Euphemism is spelled as EUPHEMISM. So the last one, my little life is like a lie. Learn, I say, learn. Look at that expression. Okay, I want to see your answers to that. It is a very simple figure of speech, but you may not think in that direction if you are not very sensitive. So, my little life is like a lie. Learn, I say, learn. What? Okay, somebody said repetition. Repetition. There is a particular name we give to it as a figure of speech. Hmm? It is not. Oh, actually, it is repetition of um, a particular letter. Now, this time around, it is a consonant. Look at my little life, little life. L is like another L, a lie, another L. Learn, I say learn. So there is repetition of the letter L in most of the words in that sentence. So what is that? It is not simile now. Yeah, somebody said it. That is alliteration. That is alliteration. So alliteration is repetition of a consonant sound or consonant letter at the beginning of each word in a particular expression. So the correct answer is the alliteration. So um, question number 18 now. Question number 18. Choose the correct answers from the following. Choose the correct answers from the following. Okay, we are now on question number 18. Please, if you are still enjoying the class, please put it in the comments and let me see. Say yes or no. Are you enjoying the class? Yes or no? Do you think it is helpful? All right, thank you. I've seen that emoji. All right, thank you. Peter Praise, I've seen it. Okay, thank you. Anthony Toby, I've seen it. Yes. Okay, let's continue then. Thank you for your attention. So, question number 18. Dash, that's 18-1 now. 18-1. Dash is strange. Okay, I've seen it. I've seen your yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's continue. Let's continue, please. Choose the correct answers from the following. Choose the correct answer from the following. Number 1, dash is strange. Sometimes some very strange things happen. Dash is strange. Sometimes some very strange things happen. So the first option there is life. The second option is the life. Then the third option is live. So there is difference between the first word, which is L-I-F-E. Then the second one, the live. Then the last one, which is L-I-V-E. So which one is the correct answer? Live is strange. Life is strange. So the correct answer is the first word there. Life is strange. Sometimes some very strange things happen. Sometimes some very strange things happen. Okay. Question number 2 under 18. Question number 2 under 18. Tunde and Bisi got married, but Dash didn't last long. Tunde and Bisi got married, but Dash didn't last long. But the marriage didn't last long. The marriage didn't last long. We cannot say maritals didn't last long. We cannot say marriage didn't last long because we are referring to a specific marriage, which is the one between these two people, Tunde and Bisi. So the marriage, the correct answer is the marriage. So I will read the sentence again. Tunde and Bisi got married, but the marriage didn't last long. Okay, number 3. The plaintiff dashed the court to restrain the defendants from further action. The plaintiff dashed the court to restrain the defendants from further action. The options there are asked, demanded, prayed. All right. What is the correct answer there? So in the court of law, we usually use that word prayed. Prayed. The plaintiff pledged the court to restrain the defendants from further action. Instead of saying begged, we use the word pray in the court of law. So the correct answer is prayed. Number 4, the university has a large collection of sporting dash. The university has a large collection of sporting dash. Sporting what? Equipment, aids. So you actually know it should be equipment without an S. Equipment is a non-count noun. So that is, it is not a countable noun. So we cannot put S there. So you see, that one with an S will be wrong if you put it there. Don't say a large collection because we have a large collection, then it should be equipment. No, it is equipment. The university has a large collection of sporting equipment. that is without an S. Number 5, the attitude of my students to dash baffles me. The attitude of my students to dash baffles me. The options there are pronunciation, pronunciation, pronunciation. Now we want to test your spelling uh, knowledge there, your knowledge of spelling, how to write words correctly. So which of the pronunciation is correct? Which of them is correct? Okay, actually it is the second one. So when you are writing pronounce, if you write pronounce, it is different from when you write pronunciation. So pronunciation does not have an O. The letter O is not in the spelling of pronunciation. So you remove the O, and that is number 2, the second word there, pronunciation. So number 6, I would have been I would have been surprised if you dash the oranges. I would have been surprised if you dash the oranges. The options there, we have blocked, have blocked, had blocked. Okay, which one is the correct answer? It cannot be blocked. I would have been surprised if you had plucked the oranges. I would have been surprised if you had plucked the oranges. You did not pluck the oranges, so I am not surprised. But I would have been surprised if you had plucked the oranges. So if you had plucked it, that's the correct answer. The judge acquitted the accused, dash all the 8 counts. The judge acquitted the accused, dash all the 8 counts. So that is of, on, from. Which of the preposition will go with the expression? So the judge acquitted the accused. So which one? That is acquitted of. Acquitted of. So the judge acquitted the accused of all the 8 counts. So number 8, question number 8, to dash students. Examination is a must. To dash students. Examination is a must. Is it to us students, or to we students, or to ourselves students? Which one is the correct answer? Okay. This comment is far from what we are discussing now. Okay. Okay, we. Okay. So the correct answer is we, not to us. To we students, examination is a must. So number 9 now. Thank you. Your answers are correct. Okay. Number 9. Dash is a figure of speech characterized with arrangement of words according to descending order. That is a figure of speech characterized with arrangement of words according to descending order. So when you arrange an event in descending order, that is from the top, that is from the highest to the least, from the highest to the least, what figure of speech is that? What figure of speech is that? Okay, climax is when you arrange events or a word referring to a particular event or order of arrangement, when you begin from the least to the highest one. That is climax. Climax. But when it is anticlimax, you are starting from the least. Sorry. Yes. You are starting from the highest to the least. That's the anticlimax. It is coming down. It is not going up. It is coming down. So let me give an example of that. If you say they killed the woman, collected her purse, and attacked her. Look at it. Now, it is different from when you say they attacked the woman, collected her purse, and killed her. So the last one I gave you is climax from the least to the topmost. So the answer to this one is anti-climax. It is coming down, descending order. That is anti-climax. Then number 10, the last one, dash is a punctuation mark used to record titles and to indicate special or local words when writing. That is a punctuation mark used to record titles and to indicate special or local words when writing. So the options are parentheses, question mark, quotation mark. So which of them do we use to record titles and to indicate special or local words when writing? Somebody said, what is paradox? What is paradox? So paradox is any expression that seems to have no sense at the beginning, but when you consider it critically, it will make some sense to you. So that is paradox. I gave you example of paradox in class when we say something like the boy is the father of the man. The boy is the father of the man. Now it will look nonsensical to you. It will look like it's not making any sense when you say the boy is the father of the man. But when you consider it critically, look at it. So you say, oh, truly that boy is the father of the man. So that is paradox. Okay. Yes, the answer to the last question is quotation mark. Somebody said it here. That's correct. Quotation mark. So you use quotation mark to mark a special word or a special statement made by somebody in an expression. So that is all for section A, and that will give you 40 good marks. 40 marks. So that is how your first part, section A, that is how it will look like. And like I have told you, put more effort into that section so that you can have good mark. So section A, 40 marks. So let's now quickly go to section B. Section B. So section B is an essay question on language development. That's section we are going to ask you questions on language. Question number 1. So in this section, you are going to answer only one question, either B1 or B2. Either B1 or B2. So B1 now. Language performs different functions in any society. Identify and explain any 5 of such functions. See, this is a very cheap question for any of you that attended class regularly. So this question is on functions of language. So look at the structure of the question. Language performs different functions. So that we are asking you for different functions of language. So can you remind me some of them? Somebody said, I can't see anything, yo. Are you sure? Are you sure you can't see anything? Can you see now? Okay, can you see? Can you see now? Okay, very good. So let's continue. Now, functions of language. Tell me some of the functions of language. Another person, you can't see anything. Okay, please, if you cannot see anything, that is your network. Please, you can check your network if you can't see anything. Okay, good. Okay, you can see. Very good, very good. Now, okay, uses of functions of language. Language is used for business transaction. Yeah, that's good. To educate, that's good. For entertainment, that's good. That's good. It's correct. Entertainment function, that's correct. Language is used to notice and the type of language. Okay. Education function, very good. That is Language is used for official purpose. Okay. To educate, I've seen it. So all those things you have mentioned, they are various functions of language. We can use language to entertain. We can use it to educate. We can use it to transfer knowledge. We can use it to transmit culture. We can use language to express feelings and opinion. We can use language to uh, stratify social status. You can use it to determine social status of a particular person or a set of people. So you can use language to determine their social status. So those are various functions of language. So don't forget to uh, do some readings on functions of language as your revision. So, like I said, functions of language, entertainment function. Okay, good. Education function. We can also use to express, that is, to express feelings and opinions and so on. Okay, we can use it to transmit culture and so on. Okay. Now I've said it. If you cannot see anything, it is your network. So some people can see the screen clearly. Okay. So question number two, identify and explain any 5 essential characteristics of language. Okay, identify and explain any 5 essential characteristics of language. Okay, those are features of language. Now, we have discussed a lot of characteristics of language. One of them is that language is innate. Language is innate, which means, okay, before I go further, now when we ask you to identify and explain, please, when you identify a particular language skill, try and explain it a little before you go to the next one. So language is innate, which means that we are all born with the ability to acquire at least one language. So it is innate in every human being to acquire language. Once you are born in a particular language environment, you are going to acquire that language because it is inborn. So language is innate means language is inborn. Then number two, language is arbitrary. That is, we give names to objects without making without having consideration for the look of the object. It is arbitrary. So naming of objects is arbitrary. That is arbitrariness of language. Then language is culturally transmitted. That is, we use language to transmit culture. Then another feature of language is symbolic. We use symbol to represent the sounds that we make in language. So that is, language is symbolic. Language is systematic, which means that language has two broad systems, that is, system of sound and system of meaning. Language is conventional, which means that language has to do with agreements among the people that are using a particular language. So there is agreement on what they call different objects or how they make certain expressions. It is an agreement. It is conventional. Well, if we call something a book in English language, if you go anywhere where they speak English language, that thing will still be a book. So because it is conventional. So those are various characteristics of language. You can mention a lot of them. So let's go to the section C. Now, this section C is basically on literature in English, and most of the time we won't ask you a general question on literature. We are going to ask you specific questions, that is, asking you to use your reference, to make reference to the particular storybook that you have read in the class. Now, this semester, we have studied 2 different storybooks. That is The Resilient Heart by Folashade Adegbembo. Then I think the other one is okay, Stolen Seed. So most of you read Resilient Heart by Folashade Adegbembo. Now, when you study a text, a literary text, there are several things we want you to take note while reading. Now, one of them is the setting of the story, the theme, projected in the story. Now, a story will have several themes, so you should be able to discuss some certain themes from that story. Then you should be able to tell us um, the aspect of the story that is a reflection of what is happening in the society. Now, does the story, um, how does the story uh, describe what happens in the society? So that is what aspect of the society is the story trying to project. Then you should try and understand that. Then you should also try to understand the moral lessons that you can actually um, identify in the story. So in this case now, let's see the example we have here. And in this case, we are going to replace the storybook here with the one you read this semester. Number one, with close reference to any two stories from either Jide Ogunlana, that is From Marriage to Prison, or Fentola Emmanuel's Radio Biafra, show clearly how the work of art is an expression of social realities. Social realities. So, from the book you have read, if they ask you to discuss how the story has been an expression of social realities, that is, how is the story, uh, how is it expressing what is happening in the society, the happening in the society, that is social reality. What reality can be inferred from the story? That is what we mean by expression of social reality. So how is it uh, projecting what is real in the society? Then number two, using any story from now those two storybooks that we used in this um, semester, that is not this semester, I mean this semester this question is representing. Now the two storybooks, they have several stories in them. That is why they say using two stories from those books. So it is not the same thing as what you have this semester. The storybook we have read has a single story in it, and the story has certain number of plots in it. That is what you should understand. No, but if you are to use that book, that storybook, to answer this question, they're asking you to discuss the theme, the setting, the characterization, and the lessons from the story. The theme, the setting, the characterization, the lessons from the story. So we have uh, required you to discuss the theme. So theme, we cannot have just one theme in a story. There could be several themes in a story. Now, for example, the resilient art. Now, there is a theme of tenacity. Uh, when we say somebody is tenacious, somebody that will not give in to discouragement, somebody that is not easily discouraged. So we have that theme of tenacity. We have um, uh, theme of hard work, and so on. So think of several themes that you have in that book. Then the setting, the story in that book that you have read, where did it happen? Is it in Yoruba land? Is it in Igbo land? Is it in Hausa land? What is the setting? So you should be able to tell us what particular setting you can identify in the story. So characterization, then tell us about uh, some characters from that text. Now, their behavior, the behavior the author has put in some of them. So there could be a character that has some funny behaviors. So you should be able to make reference to such character that, okay, for this character, he has some funny behaviors like this, like that, and so on. So the last one, what lessons have you been able to learn from the story? That is the fourth one. And you see, these four things are those things I've made reference to that you should take notes of when you are reading your storybook. So that will take us to the end of the first question paper, that is the first past question. And quickly, if you have any question to put up here, please put it up. Let me see in the comment section. What do you have any question? Do you have any question? Thank you for that, for those emojis. Yes, I can see them. Okay, I've seen your emojis, but ask questions. Ask questions, please. I want to see your questions too. Thank you for the claps. Are you sure you can't hear me? Kusa. The audio is fine. You should be able to hear me. The audio is fine. I can see still some comments here that you can hear me. All right. Any question? Any question? No, don't say you can't hear me. You can hear me. I have a question. I ask your question. Can we get the full video after this live? Yes, you can get the full video. After this class, the full video will still be posted on the channel. You can still rewatch. Okay, don't worry. I will send some past questions to you this night. Just ask your class rep to chat me up and ask for some of the past questions. I will send you some past questions this night. Are we treating 20? No, we are not treating 2024, 25 session. We are treating 2022, 23 session. Past question. What is a setting in a literature? Setting means the place and time reference in any work of art. Setting, when you discover that a particular literary work is referring to this particular geographical location, that is setting, and it's referring to this particular time. For example, if a storybook is telling you a story of an event that took place during independence, so that is telling you that it happens around 1960, and that is also setting. Okay, so how can we? Oh, I've missed that comment. Let me see. You are not going to write any letter. Okay. Can we resolve some past questions and send to you personally for checking? Okay, you may not be able to do that because I'm going to attend to you only on this channel, but you can put your questions there. Yes, you can put your question and your answer. So if you are correct, I will tell you. Can we? And that is, say, if you are writing, some of you are saying you don't have the literature text. If you are writing your exam tomorrow, that may not be possible again. But if you are writing it on Saturday, tomorrow you can tell your class rep to see me. The class reps have been coming to the department for the literature text, but maybe many of you have not been reacting to that. But if you are writing your exam on Saturday, you can still get your literature text through your class rep on Friday. That is tomorrow. You can still get it and you can still read it. It is something you can read in 2 hours. Okay. Okay, somebody is asking question on okay 4R reading technique. Please go and listen to the video on reading. So we still have it on the channel. Among the videos we have there, just click popular video. Click popular. It will bring it up to you. It is one of the popular videos there. The video on study skills, that is reading. Specifically, we have reading as the subtopic under study skill. So it I explained everything, OK4R and SQ3R. But OK4R, in OK4R, we have O as overview, K as keynote. Then you have the first R as read, the second R as uh, recite. Then the next one, the next R as reflect. Then the next one again as recall. And the last one as review. Okay, so
What is
theme. Theme means the central message that is projected or that are projected in that work of art. So in a prose, when we ask you to discuss the theme in a prose, you may not have just one theme. So we can have several major messages that are projected. So, but theme actually means the central message or the central ideas projected in any work of art, either poetry, drama, or prose. So, and I gave you example in a single literary work. For example, in a prose, the storybook we have read, you can see. Let me give you. Generally, you can see theme of love, theme of hatred, theme of oppression, theme of corruption, and several themes like that. You can have theme of joy or theme of happiness, and so on. You can have theme of intermarriage or interethnic marriage and some other. So if there is something that the author actually wants you to take note of, you can have that as a theme. So you can have theme of sorrow in a literary work. You can have theme of sorrow in a literary work. You can have theme of tenacity, like I said in the other time. If somebody is not yielding easily to pressure, so it's a theme. So it's a lesson that the author wants you to take note of. So any other question there?
joining in literature? What is joining?
GENRE. Is that genre? So when we say literary genre, we mean the various types of literature. That is, when you have something to present as happening in the society, you want to relate your own experience about life. There are three areas of literature that you can explore to do that. You can use drama as a literary genre to do that. You can use prose as a literary genre to do that, and you can use poetry as a literary genre. So we have three literary genres, which are the prose, the drama, and the poetry. So that is what we mean by literary genres. Yes, we can have more than one setting in a story. A story can tell us what happens here in Yoruba land before the person traveled to the United States of America, and in that place, some events will still come up. So, and reference will be made to the geographical location, present geographical location, leaving a particular geographical location, which is one setting. We introduce another geographical location, which is another setting. So we can have more than one setting in a literary work. Can we? All right. Under paragraphing, the examination is going to be in two options. The first option, one of the options rather, we may ask you to write an essay. Sometimes we ask you to write essay having only the introductory paragraph and the concluding paragraph only, no developmental paragraph, no transitory paragraph. So may ask you to write introductory paragraph or only both introductory paragraph and concluding paragraph. And sometimes may ask you to write just one page essay on a particular topic. So in that case, It means we are going to give you about 2 topics, and you choose one of them and you write an essay on it. So it is likely your own option may have essay and it may not have. Okay.
What about plot? And can we have more past questions?
Yes, you can have more past questions. I will ask your class rep to send some past questions to you. I will send it to them. They will send them to you this night. I'm going to do that this night. I will send you some past questions to you again. But let me see if you can treat only the objective part of another past question now. That is option B, 2022. Sir? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Someone said, when writing a thing, do we need to write the name of the person who performed the work in that text?
All right. When okay, when we write what?
When writing a thing, do we need to write the name of the person who performed the work in that text?
Okay, so it is very important that you make reference to some particular aspect of the text. That will make us know that you actually read the text. So when you are answering question, don't just answer question without examples from the text. For example, if you mention a particular character in the text, you can tell us what he or she did or the role he or she performed in that story. So you should make reference to it. Mention names, mention events in the story. That will make us know that you actually read it. Now, whenever we mark your answers, we can easily determine whether you read the book or not through your answers. So if your answers are without any reference to a particular portion of the story, then it means you did not read it. Probably somebody just told you the story, and you, with that, you would not be able to mention any name other than the name of the major character there. Okay, so let's go to the next question.
Someone said, gene and literature, does it serve as the same thing? And
Genre and literature. Well, no. I said genre means type. Genre is a French word which means type of something, types. So when we say genres of literature, it means types of literature, and there are 3 types. I've mentioned them: drama, prose, and poetry. So that is in literature. We did not treat what?
poetry,
Poetry.
yes.
No, you are not going to answer questions from poetry. Your own is a prose, and that is the storybook we have read in class. I want us to quickly discuss um, the section A of another past question. So we close the class.
Can you give examples of introductory paragraph?
No, let's go to the next question. The next past question. So any other question, I will be answering them after the live session. So this one is 2022-23, option B. Okay. Is it on the screen? For that one, the first question is, dash is the type of reading. It's on the screen. Okay. Now let's quickly go through this one too. All right, question number 1. Are we there now? Question number 1. Dash is the type of reading done to bring out specific information. Dash is the type of reading done to bring out specific information. You should know that. I thought I would see answers to that question immediately. Thank you. We love you. Thank you. I love you too. Sorry about that. 50 MB left. All right. Okay. Number 1. Let's quickly go through this question. Number 1. Dash is the type of reading done to bring out specific information. What type of reading is that? When you read just to locate a particular information, that is scanning. Scanning is the type of reading done to bring out specific information. Number 2, dash refers to the place where the story occurs in a literary work. What is the answer to that one? These questions are so simple. All right, somebody says skimming. It's not skimming. When you locate information, a particular information in the text, that is scanning. All right, so number 2, dash refers to the place where the story occurs in a literary work. That is setting. That is setting. Number 2 is setting. Setting refers to the place where the story occurs in a literary work. Settings, setting does not refer to only place. It refers also to time. Number 3, an etymological dictionary gives information on what? It gives information on the history of a word. It gives information about history of a word. Now, the origin of a word, origin, it gives you information about the origin of word. Where is the origin of the word? Is it from a French language? Is it from the French language or from the German language or the Greek language? So the etymological dictionary will tell you the origin of a word. So number 4, the word father-in-law. Father-in-law is an example of dash type of word. Actually, that is a compound word. A compound word. So father-in-law is an example of a compound word. Number 5, dash function of language portrays it as being used during rites, libation, prayer, and sacrifice. Dash function of language portrays it as being used during rites, libation, prayer, and sacrifice. That is communal function of language. When we say language is communal, that is, it is used to say prayer, rites, libation, and sacrifices. So that is communal function of language. Number 6, in the aspect of the behavior of a character from the beginning to the end of the story in a literary work, he or she can be dash or dash character. Okay, that is testing your knowledge of different types of characters in a particular storybook. So we actually have these answers as flat or round character. A character could be a flat character if he or she appears once and some other times we don't see any of his or her appearances again. But if a character is a round character from the beginning to the end of the story, you will always see actions from that character. So that is flat or round character. We can have a flat character, we can have a round character. So depending on the appearance of the character from the beginning of the story to the end of the story. So number 7, the ability of language to create new words, to describe new ideas, shows its dash characteristics. Okay, when we say language can create new words, which would describe idea, so it means that language is dynamic. Language is dynamic. We can bring new words into language. Now, whenever any item is created newly, we give name to it. Whenever an event occurs in the society, we can give name to that event. So language can accommodate new words. Then we can change a particular usage or a particular expression to be another thing. That means language is dynamic. So the answer to that question is dynamic or dynamism characteristic of language. So that is dynamism. Number 8, write the plural form of the following words. So write the plural form of each of the following words. Okay. Now aquarium, that is in the singular form. The plural form will be aquaria. Then alumnus, the plural form will be alumni. The singular form is alumnus, but the plural form is alumni. So criterion, the plural form is criteria. Syllabus, the plural form is syllabi. Syllabi. Okay, so you have to write the plural form of each of those words. Then number 9, choose the most appropriate option to fill in the gaps below. Choose the most appropriate option to fill in the gaps below. Number 1, I ought dash the gift now. I ought dash the gift now. Number 1, number A, I ought to be sent. I ought to be sent the gift now. No, that is wrong. I ought to be sent the gift now. Okay. I ought to have sent the gift now. Okay. I ought to have sent the gift now. So I ought to have sent the gift now. I ought to have sent. Sorry. So the answer is C. I ought to have sent the gift now. Okay. Number 2, when your sister dash, inform her that I called. So that the answer is comes. When your sister comes. When your sister comes, it cannot be when your sister was coming. It cannot be when your sister back. It cannot be when your sister came back. So it will be when your sister comes back, inform her that I called. That's the correct answer. Number 3, I have not heard from him since he dashed to London. So I have not heard from him since he went to London. Since he went to London, not since he had gone to London, not since he was gone to London, not since he had been to London. So I have not heard from him since he went to London. So the next one, number 4, Dede and Kausarat dash here every evening. Okay, Dede and Kausara dance here every evening. They dance. You can represent the subject. You can replace it with a pronoun. That is, they dance here every evening. They dance here every. The correct answer is B. They dance here every evening. Number 5, we should travel by air. And there's a question mark after the dash. That means it's a tagged question. We should travel by here. Shall we? Won't we? Shouldn't we? Which one is the correct answer? So we should travel by here. Shouldn't we? That's the correct answer. Shouldn't we? C is the correct answer. Shouldn't we? So now, for this option, we have punctuation. So we in your exam, we are likely to give you a portion. You say? Oracy, that is in the former question we discussed now. Not in this one. I told you the other time that oracy skills are those skills that will express you, that will require you to express yourself, either speaking or reading from the manuscript. That is oracy skill. So oracy skill is when you can stand in front of people to speak to them, at least to captivate their interest, or you read what you have to present from manuscript. So that is oracy skill. So it is very likely that we give you a passage. Usually it's just a paragraph. So that paragraph you are going to punctuate correctly. So we are not going to put any punctuation mark in the paragraph. So you are going to be the one to punctuate it. So in that aspect, you are going to score 10 marks if you can punctuate correctly. So I won't be reading this one out because it will be very difficult to tell you. But let me just give you a clue of what we expect you to do. So now, for example, in this one now, all literary words can be grouped. So look at the first word there, all. That's the beginning of a sentence. It should start with capital letter. So you should punctuate that place. That's capitalization. Write it, write all, beginning with capital letter. All literary words can be grouped under three basic genres. So after genres, what do you have there? You are going to have a colon. A colon. That is two dots because you are going to mention some items: prose, poetry, and drama. Then before you have your full stop, so you have full stop there. Then this should start with a capital letter because you already have a full stop. This arbitrary grouping is based on the form of composition and medium of literary works. The form of literary work relates to. Then full stop. So wherever you have to put full stop, take note of it and put full stop. A comma, put full stop. If it's a question, so put a comma. If it's a question, put question mark. So that is punctuation. And if you are supposed to write something in capital letter, write it in capital letter. That is punctuation. That's what we expect you to do in that part. So the next part, question number 11. Question number 11. Interpret the following idioms. Interpret the following idioms. Now, the first past question too, we discussed idioms. So the first idiom here is to flog a dead horse. To flog a dead horse. I think that's spade in front of it is an error. You can cancel that. To flog a dead horse. Now, to flog a dead horse means to engage yourself in a fruitless effort. A fruitless effort, something that will not yield you any result. So they will say you are flogging a dead horse. So when you are doing something that will not yield any result, the appropriate idiom to use there is you are flogging a dead horse. That is, that effort will not yield you any result. Okay, number 2, that is number B. To be fair weather friend. To be a fair weather friend. So if you are a fair weather friend, it means you are a friend that only appears when things are rosy for the other person. So you will disappear when things are tough. So if you are a kind of person like that, we call that person a fair weather friend. When the weather is fair, that is when the whole thing is going smoothly, then that friend will be available. But when things go wrong, then that friend will disappear. That is a fair weather friend. Then number C, to develop cold feet. To develop cold feet. Now, cold feet mean to be afraid of something. When you are taking an action and you are intimidated and you are deciding not to make any step further, then it means you are afraid, and the appropriate idiom we use for that one is you are developing a cold feet. You are developing a cold feet. So when somebody develops a cold feet, it means that person is now afraid to take the next step. Now, number D, Roman figure D. Sorry, question number 11D. To face the music. Now, when they say somebody is facing the music, it means that person is facing the consequence of a particular action. So when somebody is suffering as a result of the consequence of a particular action the person has engaged himself or herself in the past, so we say that person is facing the music. All right. Number 11E, to open a can of worms. To open a can of worms. That is when you are worsening the situation involved in something. When you are, instead of actually you are trying to make solution, but at the end of the day, you discover you are only making it become worse. So that is when you open a can of worms. Then they also use it when uh, somebody decides to expose some other things that are hidden about a particular situation before, and people begins to exclaim, "Oh, really? So all this already happened before now," something like that. So that person has opened a can of worms. So and it will become something that will uh, be worse than what it used to be before. So number 12, Dash is a book of reference that contains lexical items of a language. Without hesitating, that is a dictionary. A dictionary contains lexical items of a language. So that the answer is dictionary. Question number 13. Dictionary is a book that contains compilation of, sorry, question number 12 rather. Question number 12. Dictionary is a book of reference that contains lexical items of a language. So number 13. Dash is a book that contains compilation of maps and geographical information. Dash is a book that contains compilation of maps and geographical location. The question also came up in the past question, the other past question we treated. That is an atlas. An atlas. An atlas is a book that contains a compilation of maps. Then number 14, identify the figures of speech in each of the following sentences. A, the matter is an open secret. Now, consider the word open secret. That is oxymoron, two opposite words, something that is open and you are still calling it a secret. So, open secret means oxymoron. The figure of speech is oxymoron. The next one, B, time is running fast. Actually, time does not have legs, so it cannot run. So, when uh, the attribute of human is given to something that is not human, that is personification. That is personification. Time cannot run. So, the number C, he can eat a whole mountain. He can eat a whole mountain. It is not possible for somebody to eat a whole mountain. That is exaggeration. That is to show the extent at which that person can eat. So, but it is not possible for him to eat a mountain. So that is exaggeration. Hyperbole is the correct figure of speech there. Hyperbole, hyperbole. So D, Tope is a fish in the water. Tope is a fish in the water. Now, Tope is compared to a fish, but we did not use as or like for the comparison. So it is metaphor. It is metaphor. Tope is a fish in the water. It's a metaphor. So that is number 14A. Lion ladies live in Lagos. Lion ladies live in Lagos. Look at the repetition of L, letter L in that expression. So we have lion having L, ladies having L, live having L, and Lagos having L. So what figure of speech is that? When you repeat a particular consonant sound at the beginning of several words in an expression, that is alliteration. That is alliteration. I expected many of you to have written it as alliteration. So, okay. Number 15. Number 15. Prose is written in dash, while poetry appears in dash. Prose is written in dash, while poetry appears in dash. So we discussed that in class during the lecture periods. So prose is written in chapters. Poetry is written in stanzas or verses. So prose is written in chapters while poetry appears in stanzas or verses. So number 16, Obafemi Awolowo Library in Ikenne is an example of dash library. So what type of library is Obafemi Awolowo Library? Now, a library organized by one person is actually a private library. So Obafemi Awolowo Library in Ikena is an example of a private library. Number 18, the sequential arrangement of events in a literary work is known as. Anybody with that answer? Sequential arrangement of events. Sequential arrangement of events in a literary work, maybe a prose or a drama, even in a poetry. So sequential arrangement of any event is said to be the plot, plot, plot. Then number 19, some of the characteristics of language include dash and dash. Just mention two features of language or characteristics of language in that. You can say language is innate, language is symbolic, language is conventional, language is arbitrary, language is systematic. Any two feature of characteristics of language. So that is okay. That's all for the objective part. Section B, language and language skills. Question number 1, list and discuss 5 uses of English language in Nigeria. Okay, you should know that use of English language in Nigeria, I've discussed it in the other past question, as official language, as lingua franca, as language of entertainment, as language of the press, as language of the judiciary, as language of education, the language we use in schools. So as language of education. So we have several uses of English language in Nigeria. Then number 2, what is a paragraph? A paragraph is a unit of idea in a discourse. So a unit of idea. Now we can also say it is a group of interrelated sentences logically arranged to form an idea in a discourse. So that is a paragraph, a unit of thought, unit of idea in a discourse. Then number 2B, explain 4 qualities of a paragraph. 4 qualities of a paragraph. So we have coherence. A paragraph should have coherence. That is, it should have relationship with one another. That is, one paragraph should lead to the other in the order of arrangements or organization. So that is coherence. Then we have unity. There should be unity of thought. So your thought should have what we call unity. Then that is, in a paragraph, we have several sentences, and those several sentences should not negate one another. So they should unite. So that is unity. Then we have brevity. A good paragraph should be brief. Then accuracy. A good paragraph should give accurate information. That is accuracy. It should give accurate information, and so on. And for the literature part too, most of the things I've said about literature, make sure you read the literature text and you are able to determine the setting. You're able to determine the themes, several themes in that storybook. Then you should be able to determine the lessons, the moral lessons identified or projected in the story. Then you should be able to say some things about each of the characters in the story, then and so on. So if you can do that, you will answer the question on literature aspect perfectly. So I won't be able to treat any other past question now again, but if you have any question, you can still put your questions in the comment section. I will still answer your questions until 12:30 a.m. until 12:30 a.m. But after then, those of you that are writing your exam on Saturday, you can still ask your questions. So the video will still be on the channel. You can make reference to it anytime. Then ask your questions. When you are reading, if you have any question, quickly come up online and ask your question. Now I can see some other comments there. I will just take 1 or 2 comments and we close the live session now. Climax, Hyperbole. Hyperbole is an exaggerated idea when an idea is exaggerated above the actual size. Like saying the whole world attended a wedding. The whole world cannot attend a wedding. It is not possible. That is exaggeration. We call it hyperbole. Then climax. Climax is arrangement of events in ascending order. When you arrange events going from the least to the highest, that is climax in literature. But if it is in drama or a story, that's a prose, climax means the highest level of conflict in a story. So you know, drama is composed using a particular conflict as the major instrument. So when the conflict gets to the highest point, then we have what we call climax. So somebody, all right, thank you too. Thank you for your time too. Yes, prose is written in chapters. Drama is written in act and scene, but poetry is written in stanzas or verses. Then is it brevity you said, sir, or brevity? Brief, that is brevity. It should be brief. It should be brief. Then yes, poetry is written in stanzas. Is private library the same thing as personal library? Yeah, yeah. Your personal library is at home. Oh. Private library is the one that we have given as example now. Then, all right, I can see your comments showing your appreciation. Thank you very much too. Thank you for your time too. I wish you the best in your exam. And like I said, the video will still be online in the channel for your comments. Mini, what is this? Okay. Okay, so my dear scholars, this is the end of the live session for the revisional class. I thank you so much for your time. And remember, I always wish you well. Your success is very paramount, especially on this channel. That's why we have been trying to give you the best. Meaning of denouement. Meaning of denouement means the point at which the tension in conflict is coming down in a literary work, especially in a drama work. So that's denouement. After resolution, when conflict is resolved, then the next thing is denouement. The tension created by the conflict will now come down. That's denouement. Okay, thank you too. All right. Meaning of pun. Yeah, when you play on words, okay, what's the meaning of word of pun? When you play on words, uh, that is pun. When you take a particular word and you are playing on it in a particular expression, like if you say, Dare is a man that cannot even man his own house, you are playing on that word. Are you sure you are a man that you cannot even man your house? So you are using that word creatively. Okay. Sorry. Thank you very much. I say amen to your prayers. I say amen to your prayer. I love you all. Thank you very much. I wish you the best in your exams. Thank you. Good night. Oh my God. What is apostrophe before you go, sir? Okay, if you can still hear me, apostrophe is when you are addressing a lifeless object as if that object is still alive. That is apostrophe. When you are addressing a dead body now, like, why did you do this to us? You know, when people are mourning, they can say a lot of things. Addressing the dead body, that is apostrophe. It is different from rhetorical question. Okay, a lot of loves. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, bye bye. Good night.